Hey guys, welcome to Painted Rhino Podcast. I'm Adrian, and this,
Troy.
yeah, that was your name last time. You didn't change it?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
But
What would you change it to?
good. In Spanish class in high school,
Oh, boy.
Well, the way the guy said it this week in Mexico was, how did he say it? Troy or something. Troy.
There you go. There you go. It's Spanish.
In Tomas, it was Tomas. That's what they called me in high school, in Spanish class.
Gotcha. There you go. There you go. You know what they called me in Spanish class? A failure. Just kidding. I didn't think Spanish. But yeah, I know more Spanish than I know a lot of things. So, that's okay. It's fun. So, what are you doing, man? You got this flower thing on your chest. I mean, I look at the video and standing out is flower. Corsage is boutonniere.
Boutonniere, yeah.
Buccaneer, boutonniere. See what we did there? Yeah.
I like the color pink, I guess. That's why I wore it. I thought it was
Nothing wrong with color choices or preferences. I'm not saying that your color palette cannot be advanced or sophisticated. I personally am fond of burnt sienna. That was my favorite crayon growing up just because it was fun to say.
Burnt sienna.
I don't know who Sienna was, but I hate that they burned her. That's awful.
Poor thing.
Yeah, it's bad. Tell us about the flower. What's going on, man?
Well, last Saturday, I celebrated, we had a vow renewal. It was actually last Sunday, a week ago today, that I've been married 30 years.
30 years.
So I've been married longer than I've been single.
So does the clock start over when you renew the vows? Like now you're newlyweds again? Does that happen?
I wish.
Did the vows not take the first time? What are we gonna do again? Which vow did you?
Which vow did I read?
E-I-O or you? And sometimes why?
That is true.
Why not?
Why not?
No, but no, it was awesome. So tell us about your vow renewal and why you guys decided to do that, and just what happened, who was there, what all went out.
Well, I decided to redo it for spiritual reasons.
Okay.
And the main spiritual reason was because my wife wanted to.
I was getting ready to say, I'm making jokes about it, and you have a spiritual purpose behind it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here's the pagan guy in Troy. It's thanks. That seems so good now. So she wanted to renew your vows.
Yeah, we've been married 30 years, been through a lot, and it was kind of a special deal, and we just wanted to renew to each other that, we'd do this thing all over again.
Yeah.
If we had the choice, we would still choose each other. So
that's awesome.
Isn't that all mushy?
No, it's great. It's great. You guys wrote your own vows?
Yes.
So which was really cool.
Yes, indeed. And I didn't write mine out.
Right.
But I had it, and I mean, do we want to talk about that now? I mean, my wife wrote hers out, and they were incredible.
She crushed it. She
nailed
crushed
it.
And just knowing you and conversations we've had, she said some things to you that I know touched you deeply.
Mm.
And things that needed said. It was awesome. I loved seeing two people who have gone through a hard life together,
mm-hmm.
and not just a hard life, but a hard life in ministry given to other people, just restating that I'm still here, I'm still with you, I'm not quitting. And it's not just that we're going to try to hold this together, but instead, let's celebrate that we're here and that we have the future in front of us. And that was awesome. That was awesome.
And I got to share the quote that I found that I built the whole what I said on. If you don't mind,
Do it, man.
it's what I.
You're the one with the flower on your chest. Yes.
Why did I know that was coming?
While you're looking that up,
Yeah.
since we've been doing the podcast, I noticed they were right that the the camera adds 10 pounds. I don't mind that the camera adds 10 pounds. It's where the camera adds the 10 pounds that I don't like.
It's that I got a problem with.
I got the pirate thing going today, and all I can know is like, oh, I know my midsection is going to look enormous. And I know why it's a pirate problem, because I have a sunken chest. It's dropped down. So, I work at a furniture store, so it's furniture mover's disease. My chest is dropped into my drawers.
All right.
Sorry for the distraction. Did you find it?
I found it. It says, well, it doesn't have the full quote, but I know. I just do this as a guide. It's from one of my favorite movies, real deep movie by Adam Sandler called Grown Ups. If you haven't seen it, go.
Oh, man.
I feel like it was my life growing up, teenage life. But one of the ladies on there, one of the characters, her name is Gloria, and she's the older lady, and she says this: life can be difficult sometimes. It gets bumpy. What, with family and kids and things not going exactly like you planned? But that's what makes it interesting. She said the first act is fun, but the second act, that's where the depth comes in.
Mm.
And so I kind of divided my vows up into the first act and second act.
Right.
Because the first act, it's all fun and you say I do. But the second act, you kind of say I still do. Mm. And what I said at the beginning, you know now that I meant what I said.
Nice.
So
nice.
That's kind of where I went with mine.
That's awesome. God kind of does that. He comes to us after we've spent our life or our time with Him, and we're struggling, and we're maybe at a point where we just need to hear it again. And I love that that's often when His Spirit comes and ministers to us, and He says, "I'm still yours. I'm still here. You're still my love, and I still do." That's awesome.
That's where the spiritual growth and the faith and that's where it goes to another level.
Absolutely. That's crazy. So
that's good.
Thank you for being willing to talk about it and share it. That's awesome. So thank you for wearing the boutonniere. I love that. I love it. I love it. So I decided to change my wardrobe a little today.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm wearing the Crocs instead of the tennis shoes.
There you go. Yes. I knew. I knew there was something.
There you go. There you go. For those on Spotify or iHeart or not on YouTube, I'm wearing a pirate hat. Not some little, I ate at Long John Silver's last night pirate hat either. This is not paper that you fold into shape. This is a legitimate. This is substantial.
Show them the style. Show them the.
Oh yeah, I got the
Jolly
whole
Roger
thing going.
Yeah.
So it's why.
Why is that?
Today, my family went to the Renaissance Fair. Now, at the Renaissance Fair, you see all kinds of people represented from that era, right?
Okay.
So you'll have, the English nobility walking around, and you'll have the commoners of that day, right? And you'll have pirates, because very active in the late 1700s through the mid 1800s. That was our heyday. I say our because but you'll also see other things, kind of fantasy things, have made their way into Renaissance Fair. Mermaids. They got a pool, and girls with the fishtail thing going on, and the fairies. There's
Okay.
one chick that name's Primrose, and yeah, I'm saying it on YouTube so y'all can hear it. And I didn't see her myself, but my daughter did, Kayla, and she showed us some videos. She's on TikTok or what have you, but she's a bubble fairy.
Okay.
She takes her hands in the whatever, the soap, the bubble, whatever, and she'll like make shapes of hearts or whatever and blows bubbles out of her hands. And then
Oh
she
my
does like the
God.
sleight of hand magic thing for a little kid. They pop a bubble and there's a little aquarium stone that she gives the kids. And it's just kind of for the kids. It's awesome.
It's
It's
pretty
really
cool.
cool. You'll see plague doctors walking around. You'll see, strangely enough, I saw Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. So that was a bit odd to me. But okay, maybe. The my favorites that I've ever, and I didn't see it, I saw it in a meme, was actually people dressed in Star Trek attire with somebody in a red shirt laying on the ground, and they're trying to get beamed up so they don't interfere with the culture and break the Prime Directive. And of course, the red shirt's the one that dies because that's what happens in Star Trek. You wear a red shirt,
Oh
you're
my
done,
God.
right? It's awesome.
That is pretty
So
cool.
the creativity is off the charts, right? I'm talking jugglers, flame eaters, people walking on cages. And so we're going to throw up the whole time we're talking here pictures and short videos of those things going on. There's also the Celtic area or Celtic area rather. Sorry, basketball got in the way. Celtic area
Okay.
where it's the whole thing with the kilts and the axe throwing and bagpipes and the instruments and the whole druid experience is part of that. And there's a Norse area where you've got the Vikings going on. So the pirate hunt is because we did that, but I also love pirates. We're going to do pirate episodes. You don't know this yet. So that when they find out, you just found out. We're going to do it because people have misunderstood pirates for forever.
Oh, okay.
They don't get it. They don't understand. Jesus was a pirate. Ho, ho, ho. Somebody said, what? What? He can't say that. A heretic.
Okay, I'm
Now I'm on
interested.
YouTube on other people's channels for being a heretic because I said Jesus was a pirate. If you understand what piracy really was, yes, there is criminals. Yes, there is bad things going on, right? There was also an effort and a push to free slaves that were being sold from, one side of the ocean to the other. There was the desire and the goal to have a democratic society away from a monarchy that, abused and used them as privateers rather, and indentured them, gave them almost nothing for them risking their lives at sea while the rich English and French guys just stacked in the cash. Anyway, so
No, that's
crazy.
interesting.
Pirates aren't bad guys. They are trying to find and offer, you ready? To those who are enslaved, and those who are enslaved through governments, not just in chains of slaves, right? So two different kinds of slavery, but offer them freedom and a free state to live in. So that's the majority of it, and a lot more than what people realize. Now, when you go, what do you mean Jesus was a pirate? Take that, run with it, and we'll get there one day. We'll do it. But it was awesome. We had a lot of fun. We missed last week doing the podcast because you were gone after your vow renewal, which was awesome, by the way. And thank you for letting me be a part of that.
Yeah, I was
You
about
got
to say, I did. You did. My best friend here did an incredible job. Off the charts. I mean,
No, I just
yes,
step out
you
of the
did.
way and let you guys do your thing. That's what it was about. So you guys rocked
You
it.
nailed it.
But thank you for the compliment. It's not
We
deserved,
appreciate it.
but I appreciate it. But then you went and you decided that you were done with America and you left the country.
We did. We went to Los Cabos.
Now, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, there's a restaurant next to Bass Pro called Los Cabos. Is that where you were for 4 days?
A little bit further.
A little further. Okay.
we flew to Los Cabos, and if you have ever been, oh my gosh, it is one of the most gorgeous places on the planet. It is on the Pacific side of Mexico.
Okay.
And
so Western Caribbean.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
yeah. So it's actually right on the tip of what's the peninsula? I'll remember tonight.
Well, Baja's on the other side.
Baja.
So
It is the
Florida's a peninsula.
okay.
Yeah.
There's the Yucatan where Cancun is, and this is the other side.
Anyway,
And Baja Peninsula. There you go. I think that's what it's called. And it was absolutely gorgeous. And so I can't tell you about it in the short time that we have. I can tell you about one main thing
okay, what'd you
that
got?
we experienced. Well, my wife goes, "You want to go on a zip line?" And I said, "Sure."
No, wait, you have a thing like I do with heights.
I do not do heights. Humans are not made to fly.
No. There's a great song by Pfeiffer Fighting called Superman. Right? And it's about Superman. He goes, I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. It's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So I said
Men
yes.
weren't born to ride with clouds between their knees. Sorry, I got
There you
distracted.
go.
It's a great song.
No, good. And
I'm more than a bird.
where's that pillow?
It's over there. You put it too far. Okay, tell us about your zip line. I'm going to shut up because I want to hear about this.
Okay.
I didn't say anything. I didn't sing. I wasn't singing.
We drove up and I looked up and there were these cables going across way up in the sky. And I said, "Babe, those are the zip lines." "No, they're not." I said, "Yes, they are." And see, I thought, silly me, that those were the high ones.
Wait, so you're like nervous already.
I'm scared. I'm telling my wife in the van, "I'm not doing this. Let's go back to
You're backing out? You paid
I'm backing out.
excursion and you're backing out.
Oh, God. So they drove us back into these hills. Mountains.
Okay.
And they strapped us in these harnesses. And you got to know, I don't do heights. And the last zip line we went on was in Cancun. And I thought those were high.
No?
They were, but follow me. So we followed the guide up and up and up. And the first zip line we come to, he says, "Yeah, this isn't the high one. The next one is the highest one." And I went, and you're looking over. And I am telling you, all right, I'm up here, you're strapped in. There's one way down, and there's 7 of these zip lines. And I'm thinking, I've got 7 of these things to go, and this isn't the high one.
So wait, it's like a connected thing? You get
Yes.
nonstop, or you stop at platforms? How does that work?
You go across the valley,
Yeah.
and you stop at a platform and walk up to the next one, and you go down, and then you walk up, and you go down to the next. You keep going across the valley. We get to the high one, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, there's a lot of wind coming through the valley today. You better pick your feet up and go fast, or you're not going to make it across."
So what did they just leave you out there?
We were up there, and of course, one of the ladies in our group was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it." Like 3 or 4 people got stuck, and the guide said, "If you get stuck, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put one hand up here and then turn around and put the other hand back here and pull yourself back
Hand over hand.
hand over hand."
While you're floating in the breeze like my lure stuck in a tree over the creek.
Yes. and I'm like, how am I going to do this? And my glasses were doing this in the wind. He takes me and just slings me out, and I'm coming across that valley. And my glasses are, and I'm thinking, oh God, help me make it, help me make it, help me make it. And I'm hanging on. But it was the coolest thing because you could see forever. And it's like, it was surreal, because we're coming. And I'm like, I think I'm going to make it. And then I came into the tower hot. And that guy grabbed the rope and caught me. And that wasn't it. I think that was the second or third tower. Then we do about 3 or 4 more towers, 3 or 4 more zip line. And then he says, okay, we got to go across this rope bridge.
Rope bridge.
Well, those are made for normal people, not mini-me. I'm just telling you right now. Because, you grab onto the cable here, and yet, I'm grabbing up here where everybody else. And then it gets over other people's heads. So I'm just grabbing these little bitty things. And this bridge is fine. That's okay. Cool. Because the next thing he said, well, we're going to go down this rappelling wall. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And the lady beside me was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And they were newlyweds, by the way. And I said, well, I'm going to witness a marriage and a divorce all in the same trip.
Poor lady.
They strapped you in this harness and you're looking over, and then you have to turn around with your back to the mountain and swing out.
Yep.
And let yourself down. Of course, there's somebody at the bottom belaying you, which is a lesson by itself. So if you start to fall, he'll pull the basket and stop you. And I just said, I'm doing it, and turned around and of course they got the photo op.
Right. Yeah.
Picture, so you'll buy the pictures.
So right now, that photo is on YouTube right as we're speaking. Oh. So, yep, it's right there.
So we go off that rappelling tower, and here's what's interesting. Something that literally, thinking about it, even looking at the pictures after, I physically get weak.
Really?
My legs physically I would get weak at the knees. I start feeling, I cannot believe I do that. How in the world did I do this? That is not me, because I would never do that. So that was the highlight of my trip, that I conquered one of my fears. I did it. And I don't know, I'd probably do it again. If I had some friends with me, I'd take them through the whole experience and say, we can do this. By the time we got to the end of the whole thing, everybody in our group, we were all kind of, cheering each other on, and had a bond going on.
Right.
So that was one of the highlights of my experience. So much more that might come out in other podcasts that we do. But the thing that I dreaded and thought I would hate the most, ended up being the best part.
That's awesome. God never does that stuff though, right?
Always.
He never puts a challenge in front of us and we're afraid of it and we don't want to do it. And it looks horrible and it looks scary. Or maybe not even a challenge. Maybe he didn't put it there, but the world did. And you got to step off the edge and trust him.
Got to do it. Just bail off. You got to trust your equipment. You got to trust your guide. So many things I think about it, and other people say, you got this, you can do it. But until you bailed off and done it, or came in across a valley like that and overcome. See, that might not be a big deal to other people, but there was one guy in our group that would take running starts and go across. And he's the daredevil. And may not have been a big fear to his to overcome that.
Right.
And he probably might have thought this is no big deal, which apparently he did, and the guides, one lady got stuck on the longest cable because of the wind, and she didn't make it all the way to the tower. That guide goes, "I got you," straps into the cable, grabs his pulley, and takes off, goes out there to her, puts her legs around her, and just pulls her backwards across back to the tower. And I'm going, what? But for me to overcome that and for me to do it, I'm telling you what, it was a huge deal. And what other people may minimize, what other people have been through and overcome, it's I don't know who said this, but it's not what you've accomplished in your life, it's what you overcome to get there.
Wow. That's
and
good.
So
that's good.
That was a big deal. And
that's good. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing it. That's huge. So trust and stepping out in faith. It's got nothing to do with walking like a Christian, does it? That's crazy.
That gave me more strength than anything. You just have to. You got to just do it. You have to make up your mind and just go and bail off and do it. You won't. The experience would not have been what it was if I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
It would not. And now I got stories to tell, and I can tell other people, let's go, you can do it. We can do, this is one of the most fun things, And,
but you would miss achieving something with your wife.
Yes.
Because of your fear, if you didn't step out.
Right.
So I look at this guy at the Renaissance Fair, and I'm sure we're showing a video clip of him now. He's got a round cage and a weight at the bottom. He's swinging around this pendulum. And I'm talking, he's 35, 40 feet in the air. And he's running barefoot in this little cage like a hamster in a wheel. And he's flipping around.
Literally.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure video's going to be running. It's crazy. So you'll see what I'm talking about. He's just free up there, flying around. How do you practice that? How do you learn that? The first time, you just have to have faith and courage to do it and to trust that the science is sound, right, for him, and that his footing is good, and that he's strong enough physically to do what he's got to do, and he's agile enough and quick enough to do that. It's amazing to me. You talked about having to trust your gear, having to trust your guide, right? You talk about having to trust the guy at the bottom that can break you and save you if you do lose your grip.
Yes.
Which is nuts to me how they figured all that out. But that's it. When we are facing something, God isn't necessarily on the cliff with you. He's not necessarily the guy at the top saying you have to step off backwards blind into this. He's the guy at the bottom saying you can do this. I've given you everything you need. You have the equipment, you have the training, you have the people above you, and I've got you if you fall.
And we got to follow the directions.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the directions, you're going to get stuck halfway out there.
Yeah. And you're going to have to get saved. You know what's awesome? We have to step out in faith. He's there to take care of us. Yes. He's there to save us if we're stuck, but he came. See, Jesus came all the way to where we were stuck, where we had no future, no hope, no life. He came and he saved us, and he wrapped himself around us, and he pulled us hand over hand to safety when he came to this earth and he died for us. And then he comes in the form of Holy Spirit to interact in our lives and to catch us right before we hit the bottom.
Oh, that's so good. There's a difference with us who've already, we're over there saying, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it.
Yep.
And then, but Jesus is like, we can do it, and I'm not going to let you
Yep.
And I will come get you, and I will pull you to safety.
Yep.
Mm.
You start to fall, I'll catch the break. Whether it's rappelling or ziplining, that your experience shows him caring for us and him giving to us, him protecting us. So that's awesome, man. That's what his grace does for us, right? Because when we don't deserve it and we can't do it, he does. He steps in. And that's huge. But he expects us to step off the cliff. He expects us
Mm.
to let go of the platform and to push ourselves out onto that zip line.
You
He
won't have the
asks us
experience.
to do that. And if we have that faith, he's got the rest. Even if we do the rest wrong, he's there to save us.
Mm.
We just have to tell him and show him we trust him
Mm.
and then let him do the rest. And you know what? Look what you saw and experienced and felt and achieved and the victory you have because you did that.
Oh, I feel so much. I mean, this may sound silly, but that's serious. I mean, that's a major phobia
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for people. And I wouldn't classify it, well, as a phobia, but it is a fear of mine. And, now I know I can do this. I mean, I know I can. The experience would not have been the same. I would have had a great time, unbelievable, incredible, and I would have came back from Mexico and never known what I missed.
Mm-hmm.
Never known
Yep.
what I'd not experienced.
And been embarrassed in front of your wife who didn't get to do it because you stole that from her if you backed out, right?
That's right. That's right.
We affect everything around us when we don't walk in faith.
Oh.
We walk in faith, he covers us, he protects us,
Mm.
keeps us safe, and he uses us as an example and inspiration and light to those that are coming behind us. So it's too much. Everything we do, we see God's life and example with us in that. Everything we do, there's theology. Everything we do, there is an image and a picture of how he moves in our lives, interacts with us, and changes us and enables us. So I don't care if you're going to the grocery store or you're driving through crazy traffic or you're jumping off the side of a mountain rappelling, or you're just going with your family to see the weirdos at the Renaissance Fair and to eat meat on a stick.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a life lesson that God can teach us through all of that.
Mm.
But if you didn't stop and while you're going, overcome the fear enough to look around, and as you said, you could see everything, what would you have missed? That view, that experience, if you didn't do it?
Well, we were on one platform. Thanks for reminding me of this. I know you talk forever, but we were on the highest platform they had, and you could look through the valley, the two mountains over here, and you could see the ocean.
Mm.
Oh, breathtaking. And I'm thinking, well, I'm about to be thrown off the side of this. But at one point, I could feel the wind. The first, I'm like, now I would probably enjoy it more because I'd be more relaxed and I would look around and enjoy. I was still kind of too tense to really enjoy what was going on. But at one point, I'm coming across and I'm looking down and there's cows walking on a road. They're way down there. And I'm saying, hey, look at those cows, and it was pretty cool.
That's crazy. So in all of life, look for God because he's there and he's an example everywhere you look. He's going to show you things, but you have to look for him. You have to experience them. So as we do things this summer, we're going to go out and have fun. And we're going to show you the videos and the pictures and us enjoying things. And we're going to tie all that into what God's doing in that event with us, because everywhere we go, we're going to be looking for God moving in our lives and God being a part of that. And that's huge to me. So I can't, when they say to put him in the middle of your life, that's what we're talking about. Is don't miss his interaction. Don't miss the blessing that he has for you. Look around, enjoy what you do, go do fun things. And as you're doing them, look for him to give you a little bit more than what you bargained for, because that's what he does.
Oh, that's good.
So until next time,
His grace is enough.